for me, when you think about the idea of a yard sale, you go in your closet, you go in your garage, you go in your house, and you get rid of the stuff that doesn't belong, right? And the people pleasing and the perfectionism is like, I'm trying to get rid of this, I'm trying to get rid of it. So me doing this in real time at a conference is literally people in front of us. I am trying to work out fear of what other folks are thinking.
Put it on the front yard, selling at the garage. Name your price and you might buy. Put it on the front yard.
All right. We don't know what we're about to do.
Really rapping, choose your love, sweet theology. Choose your drug, perfection, never lost for the perfected.
I'm setting this up. I'm curious for you, man. What for you is like your yard sale? Like, what are some things that you feel like you're trying to, that you maybe identify or haven't identified that you want to get rid of? And then simultaneously, like when you go to a yard sale, there's some stuff that are not, might seem of value to others that you want to procure for yourself. So what are you giving away? What are you trying to keep for Lerone Joseph?
That's a hard, deep question.
I know, right?
He taking me to therapy now.
Shout out to yard sale. If you haven't listened, please. It's on Spotify. It's on all streaming. I really like that project. But what's your yard sale, man?
Ooh, so the I think imposter syndrome is real.
Yeah.
That has been rearing its head. I would say in the last 6 months of kind of asking yourself, like, do you belong? I mean, I've been blessed. This year has been a blessing. Just being able to be in spaces where I'm either the only person who looks like me, the only person of my gender identity. I am always 99.9% of the times the youngest person in the space. And it's always asking myself, why am I here? Do I belong here?
Yeah.
And it's really going back to that calling and the purpose of, like, God has opened this door, window, you slip through the cracks because you are there, and it's reflecting on that. But I can't say I'm even close to overcoming that. Even just being at the conference, I'm glad you're here because it's like, for me, it's I'll go to the session now. Slowly make my way back to the hotel. Like my wife is constantly like saying, you need to go sit at the bar and have a conversation with a stranger. And that's another avenue of where I'm able to pick that up.
Mm-hmm.
If I get an introduction, I'm good at building those relationships, but it's like I'm probably not going to be the first one talking to anybody. So those are two that come to mind. What am I trying to pick up? Really just kind of being a sponge around seasoned entrepreneurs, or finding more folks who want to do the work without just necessarily having that bag attached to it. So for those listening, you might not be able to afford certain things, but allow folks in the room to have conversations as well. And that always opens up other doors and leads to future steps of where you can capitalize on some of those work, but really surrounding myself with people who are interested in serving and not just checklisting and doing some of those work. So.
Man, I love that, bro. I love that. Like, I think we're all a work in progress is one of the big things I took away from Measure Unpacking. There's always some kind of baggage that we hold close, and we're not necessarily sure like how to relinquish it. And then simultaneously, I think we all value people that provide value, people that are in our tribe. And so the reason why I think it's important to know that is because God kind of has a monopoly on truth. He puts inside of us a desire to grow, desire to be with like-minded folks. And so I appreciate you sharing that. As I sort of land the plane, we're gonna have many more conversations, man. As I sort of land the plane, like, you're about to publish your book, right? I think you talked about like the mentorship and importance behind it, but you're a thought leader, and so this is one of many books that you're gonna publish. But who would you like to read your book? Remind us like the title of it. Who is this for? And like bring us home for like how you hope that this is gonna be an impact for somebody else.
Yeah, so I think I've written the book in really general day-to-day language. So I think you don't need a PhD to understand what it's talking about. But I think it's really for folks who are, here comes our first responders. I think it's really for folks who are in a place right now of trying to find a tribe, trying to find a community, and trying to identify what they want to do next and what skill sets they need to take with them. I think all of us have either been in places, we've been around folks who we admire, and it's critical to know what we're going to take away. And I think folks we don't admire as well, because I've had great leaders and not so great leaders, and I've taken something from both of those folks, of the leader I want to be and the leader that I don't want to be. So I think it's across the board. I mean, it's for the 12-year-old who's playing basketball, who's not sure, or football, but it's also for the 40 or 50-year-old who might be career changing and trying to see what are those lived experiences they're going to take with them on their next journey. So no one role model. We're debunking some of those myths that you have to have one person that you're trying to follow, and really finding your starting five. Shout out to my starting five. Definitely my grandmother, probably the most resilient person, my mom, my wife, my brother, my second brother. The other two might not be too happy about that. And then last but not least, my first indirect supervisor, who I really just watched from a distance of how she navigated politics to higher ed, and how she showed up even in spaces where she didn't have to be, in spaces she wasn't welcome as a Black woman. No coincidence that 4 of my starting 5 are Black women. So
I love that, man. So I'm excited to check out No One Role Model. This is the first of much more content creation that you and I will collab on. We're obviously business partners, man. Last thing I'll land the plane with, man, where can they get connected with Dr. Lerone Joseph, man?
Yeah, so Joseph Leadership Solutions, info@josephleadershipsolutions.com. Or just check out our website. And we'll be on social media, Instagram as well. And we're happy to chat with you, do some consultation, or just sit and have a good old cup of coffee. But before we go, something I never asked you before: what's your top 5 hip hop artists? This could really damage the relationship right now.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for him to say one, maybe 2.
This is tough, man. So I'm gonna frame this as my top 5 most impactful for Quintrell and Lenore. My number 1, and after my number 1, I don't know if there's an order after this, but my number 1 is probably Lupe Fiasco.
Okay.
So, folks, Lupe is very polarizing, but I think as a I just see myself in him, and he's only a little bit older than me. Very lyrical.
He came to my undergrad, by the way.
A word?
My sophomore year.
Okay. He came to mine concert. Too. Yep. So shout out to Lupe Fiasco. After that, man, I think I have to say Lecrae, because he's kind of the broker of intersecting like hip hop into Christianity, but he's not the first to do it. He's probably just the most known to do it at a high quality. After Lecrae, this is arbitrary. It's a guy that I like that probably not many people know about. His name is Dre Murray. Love him, man. He's dope MC. Nas is definitely in my top 5. And this is gonna be hard, man. This is difficult. I think I have to say Jay-Z.
Okay. All right.
But the reason why, here's why I feel kind of pressured by saying that. I know you.
All right, Phoenix. We can breathe again.
The reason. So early on, Jay-Z would be my number 1. But I think I'm 37 years old, and so I have to acknowledge he's the first that made me maybe have a respect for hip hop. There's literary devices in the game that you're gonna have to sometimes you have to read lyrics in order to understand what they're saying. He's the first artist for me personally where I was like, okay, let me break down what this man's saying. I don't necessarily listen to a lot of Jay-Z as 37 years old.
Yeah.
But at 18, 19 years old, I was consuming nothing but Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I got to give my respect. So I don't know if that order of list is the same order. Lupe is my number 1 for sure.
We okay. He said Jay-Z.
We're sure.
We're fine. I don't know if I got top 5 hip hop. If I had to Jay-Z, this will probably surprise a lot of people. The Game.
Wow.
I went to a season, bro. That was a season.
I like the Game, but
that was a season.
Okay.
That was a season.
You know,
that year in between when my mom said, "You're not going to college.
My man was
going to work." Yeah.
Wrong was thugging out
here. That was the reason I probably shouldn't have went to college. So I'll say Jay-Z. The Game.
Okay.
I listened to a lot of Eminem. Everybody had their angry Eminem season.
Mm-hmm.
I've recently liked Lecrae. But yeah, I'm a big reggae, more R&B artist. But if I had to pick 4, yeah, Jay-Z. I think I admire Jay-Z about Jay-Z has been able to be authentic, but authentically adaptable.
That's fair.
And I admire that about him, of being able to enter spaces and conquer spaces that folks that look like us probably wouldn't have been able to conquer.
That's true.
2 decades ago.
So if we talk about entrepreneurship, like Jay-Z's probably he's probably closer to my 1 or 2 like entrepreneurs
Snoop
for
Dogg.
sure. So yeah, I like I like the list. I like the list. That's not bad, man. But Lerone, I appreciate you, big dog. We're gonna do this more often, man. Y'all have a blessed one.
Put it on the front yard, selling out the garage. Name your price and you might buy. Put it on the front yard.
All right. We don't know what we're about to do.
Really rapping, choose your love, sweet theology. Choose your drug, perfection, never lost for the perfected.